here. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 71st episode of Track Help. On this fine Sunday evening after Oscar Piastri extends his championship lead, and is it a foregone conclusion? Is it Oscar's championship to lose? I absolutely firmly believe so. And you know what? I'm rooting for Oscar this year. Let us know. Who do you want to win the championship? Oscar, Orlando, and why? Let us know in the comments. This is probably the business end of the season now. Every race is going to count between now and the end of the year. We're going to flip our attention to our members on the KTips Academy. You guys can also join. Just search for it on Google. We'll admit you in. And we're going to start off today with Ritvik, who's got some footage from his track. We're going to then hopefully go on to Jeremy from D-Max in Sandown. And we'll round it off with Dev from the Lucille karting track. Now, Ritvik, this is footage of you going karting for the third ever time. Is that correct?
That is right. That is
and
right.
How has your journey been karting?
So, since karting is not that famous in India, it was really very bumpy. And the speeds were about 55 kilometers per hour. That was the maximum speed. And the karts were not so good. There was a big difference in how the performance was. But even though I still ended up coming first, that's thanks to your tips that I saw on YouTube.
Amazing. Oh, well, that's great to hear that this session you finished first then overall. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Well, a couple of things straight off the bat. Number one, you got Saudi karts. It can't be that bad because Saudi is one of my favorite rental karts to drive. The RT8s as well, and they can maybe feel a little heavy and all, but there is going to be a difference in performance for sure. How well the track maintains it, takes care of it, I mean, that's subject to each track really. When it comes to the fleet of public karts, as we call them, where they use them on the day-to-day basis for their normal business operations, those karts are just going to get battered, and it's simply in the business interest to run them as long as possible, and if need be, change the tires at some point, maybe have a look at the handling if some drivers are really complaining, and then just prepare it for the next session. So these are like the most battered karts you're going to drive. When you start doing competitions at bigger tracks, who obviously have established championships, they tend to have a separate fleet of karts, which they're going to keep for competitions only. And they've got a dedicated team of mechanics who stay on top of that. So you don't really see the huge differences. Yeah, there'll be some, but those are well looked after and obviously a lot smoother to drive. What we got is a damp track in the background, I believe. Is that correct? It was raining before, or
that is right. It was raining just about 30 minutes ago, and they took about 15 minutes to clean it off, to wipe it off, and they said that you can go in.
Okay.
And maybe
excellent.
That was one of the reasons that my time was in the average lines. But yeah.
Well, straight off the bat, we're looking at this interesting layout because you have some elevation change. You're sort of going up, down, slightly banked, you can even say. And I'd say a rough outdoor surface, which always is interesting when it rains, because different parts of this surface will actually have a lot more grip and others will have, much less grip. What was your overall, mindset going into a race like this? Were you sort of taking it easy the first few laps and then, pushing after that? How did it transpire?
So I did see a few YouTube videos trying to understand what the track is like. But anyhow, the first lap, I just tried to understand where I need to speed up, what should be my braking point, and basically understanding. But after the first lap, I was all in. This is me going all in as a beginner.
Yeah, now you're pushing, and that's good. In terms of having that level to push to, always feel free to do that. Even if you're going to spin out, you might bump into a barrier, it's fine. We always say if you don't spin, you're not pushing hard enough. So feel free to push.
Right.
And only then you can find the limits and then understand, okay, where you can push to and where you need to maybe dial down a bit of the aggression, especially on a track surface like this, which I'd say has relatively medium speed corners. There's not too many, tight corners where you necessarily have to brake at. You can take a lot of this really flowing. And that's obviously what we're going to get into now. If I share my entire screen over here, we can take a look at a bit of the feedback that you put in the comment section. So this was your third time going karting. In particular, you're unsure about the first corner after the main straight. I'm not sure if you could call it a hairpin because there's a long sweeping curve leading into it. And then an actual tight turn, very common at various tracks in the world, believe it or not. I wasn't sure whether I should be holding the middle of the track through the curve until the first apex or taking it differently. Well, generally, I struggle to properly apply wide entry, apex, wide exit on this track. Since some of the corners felt less straightforward, could you take a look? So what we do is we look at some kind of a track map beforehand. We got two variations over here. I think these are both clear, and probably this one is going to give us a better understanding of the actual barriers and because the barriers move right on this track.
Yes, I think they do, but they have had the same layout since, I don't know, since very long.
Is it Formula Karting 11?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Amazing. Mazzy Plays is actually familiar with that. He just put it on the YouTube channel here. Formula 11 karting. Let's see if it comes up. Because now I'll be able to actually zoom in. This is awesome. So you're saying the barriers, tend to stay as they are. It doesn't sort of shift through session by session. Because I know some tracks have that.
Yeah, they don't. They stay the same. But if you are, I think you are asking if they're fixed or if they keep changing the track layout.
Actually, it's specifically about the barriers, because what happens sometimes when people have accidents and things, it shifts it slightly, and
Yeah, they do. They do.
That sort of skews it. But this is a good idea of what you were talking about. Basically, we got our first corner, which is this winding right, and then immediately look, it tightens up to the right, and then we've pretty much got a left before the next portion. So currently, what's your approach for turn one? Is this all flat out?
So on the first turn, I usually tend to go towards the apex, and then this big curve is where I follow the middle line of the track. And in the end, as soon as I'm about to approach the final apex, that is a bit wide, I tend to take a wide entry and then parallel to the apex and then exit wide.
Okay, that's nice. Whenever we have a corner like this, have an overhead shot of it so we can see obviously what comes before, what comes after. That helps us plan the different stages of cornering. I like how you tried to apply the approach of wide entry, apex, wide exit. That's the most simple approach, and it's usually used for corners which have a long straight after them. So what's happening over here for our corner, it's a right immediately into a left. So we got to adjust our apex point really, because whether we take an early, mid, or late apex, that will decide where we exit the corner. And we want to put it in such a way that we exit appropriately for the upcoming turn. Let's have a look at some footage actually. Would you say your fastest laps are sort of in the middle, towards the end?
I can have a look at the records that I have on the app, the Race Facer app, but I'm not sure. Give me a second. I'll take a look.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I think it should be towards the end. Obviously, once you get a bit more confidence, the track has been cleaned up further as well. And we'll just have a look at this first turn in fast motion, if we get a clean run, which I'm sure we do on one of the laps. Yeah, this looks like a clean run. So we got the first turn, across the start-finish line, winding right-hand corner, before you open it up slightly, and then it becomes really, really tight for this second hairpin, which immediately goes into our left. This is a nice example. You can see the dampness on the inside. There's a few puddles on the inside apex as well.
Right.
And then how the barriers and tires are dictating what our apex is over here. Cool. Should we just take this as an example?
I think we can. Yes.
Yeah. What we got is the first corner. Right now, are you braking for the first corner? Are you lifting flat?
Yes, I just lift for a moment because that's what I had done in most of the laps. But I think in this one, I just went all in.
Cool. I like the approach that you're taking over here, trying to be on the limit of smoothness as well. A couple of things to note on entry. we want to attack it as much as possible. So next time when maybe the track is slightly more damp, slightly more wet, it's not even wet, slightly more dry, it's obviously got a little more grip that time, then you can try to push the limits. I think it should easily be flat out on that surface. What do you notice on the inside of the corner? Because technically, turn one, this is our apex, right? I mean, there's no curbs, so we use the barriers. But you'll see closer and closer to the barriers, there's these puddles of water. Get as close to that as possible, because ideally we want to minimize the meters, but not in a way where, you know, it's taking us dangerously off course if you touch a puddle. Tightening up for the first part. If we take a look at the track map, how will that look? Something like this, wide entry. Target a relatively early apex for this part. Now, why would we take an early apex for this part? The earlier you take an apex, the sooner then it throws you back towards the outside of the track again. So you're going to head towards the middle. So what we're doing in this range of blue is we're taking the shortest path, less meters, at full speed, and will naturally then be thrown off wide, which is a good thing in this case, because it prepares us for what's coming up. So the wider we go, the wider it sets us up for the turn which is coming up. And this is so important. What I'd recommend is view this almost as a double hairpin turn. Whenever we have a double hairpin, you tend to brake for the first part, but once you do all the slowing down over here, then the remainder of the hairpin should all be back on gas. And you should be exiting the second hairpin as fast as possible. Go for that conservative entry, get the braking done nicely early in the corner. Wider the entry, easier it is to target, I would say, mid, probably late apex. Why do we want to go for a mid to late apex? We skip the early part of the corner, sharp late turn. Now we cut across the track. And what you want to do is end up hugging this right-hand side of the track where my yellow arrow is. The moment we hug this right-hand side of the track, then it opens up the left. Look at that. We have so much space to then cut across. On the other hand, if you go for something like an early apex, so let me draw it over here. We turn in too early. We're on path to hitting my yellow circle. Then we're naturally going to head wide. And then look at that. Our entry for the second hairpin is compromised. So all you want to do is keep up that similar approach I can see you doing on this lap, for example. You're widening up, which is awesome. Where's your current braking point for this corner?
I think it was really close to the apex. Before I was closer to the mid part of it. I think that's where it was.
Tap of the brake, hard brake. What would you say?
This particular kart had some issue in the brake, and regardless of how hard I pressed, it was just registering a small amount, a really small amount.
Yeah, the sensitivity wasn't great. Press the brakes, it's hardly doing anything. I can see it gets a bit bumpy as well. And I noticed this kart has loads of understeer because look at how much you're having to hold this angle of steering. That's painfully bad because all of that's just slowing you down. Until we unwind and get back to the middle, then we're going to be building up speed. So despite you braking and turning hard, it's not even going towards the right-hand apex. Interestingly, that apex over here as well is going to be defined by tires. So, okay, we're not going to hit the tires similar to how we hit the curb, but we want to get as close as possible. Essentially, try to reduce the meters to there. Now, if you find you have an understeery kart, like you're driving a kart which the brakes aren't too sensitive, you just got to go for an earlier turn in, right? Or lift off the gas as well earlier. So the idea is you're having to sacrifice a bit more time on corner entry and almost forcing the kart at slower speed to then eventually get closer and reduce those meters. That's a couple of approaches. Otherwise, you can sort of like full send it, but when you full send it like this, you get taken off the line, and then it sort of affects the second part. The second part, you can, I think, the more people get close to it and bump it and things, it can get shifted around. But you want to make a straight line as possible between the last apex and then the left one over here. And you did a much better job over here. If you take a look, closing now the distance, right? And in this case, that's going to be the fastest path. As long as you can get your braking done early and the turn in, similar to what you're doing over here, Get closer now to the right, take less meters. Obviously, in a better car, it's going to be easier to get over to that right-hand side. And then once you close the gap to the inside, so we're somewhere over here, then we just straight line it to the next corner. So we've completed our braking, we're back onto gas, accelerating out of the turn. When are you going to go to the track next?
So I decided to not go to this one since this is a bit far away, and the one closer to me has really better karts. And I just went recently. I came back today and I am really exhausted because I had 3 sessions back to back.
Okay, wow.
And I finally managed to upgrade to the level 2 kart. That is, I cleared the time limit of 47 seconds.
Superb.
So I have a recording of that, and I plan to upload it as soon as you make the next community post.
Amazing, amazing. Well, we look forward to seeing a bit of that footage. I'm afraid we're going to have to move on to the next driver now, as we're running out a bit of time.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you as always, Ritvik, for joining. What's up to Dev? Welcome back to Track Help. Hope you can hear us. If you got a mic, just say hi.
Yeah, hi.
What's up, Dev? I always see you in the YouTube live chat of Track Help. It's nice to see that you've got some footage of your own, which you've put over here towards the middle of the session. Now, before we jump into, it was meant to be Jeremy's footage. He has not showed up. So what we're going to do is move it on to Dev. And then what we'll do, Harry, since you've been here from the beginning as well, is round off with you. Is that fine?
Yeah, if Jeremy does turn up, I'm fine with sacrificing it to him if he wants it.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll see how we're doing for time as well. We should be right on the limit. Let's just share a bit of footage over here with the audio on as well of Marcel, or rather Marcel's son. Many of you who join Track Help, the live or the in-person, the Google Meet over here, know Marcel is a very regular contributor. And being a Dutchman, the race is obviously going on this time. His son is recording the opening lap, and hopefully we're going to see an awesome shot. Exhilarating stuff from Zandvoort. And that guy who's next to the fence with the earphones on, wow, he must have felt the full forces of it. Let us know, guys, what your opinion of the Dutch Grand Prix was, who you're backing for the championship this year. We're over halfway of the F1 season now, so it's all to play for. Dev, how have you been?
Yeah, I've been fine.
Dev, just tell the viewers, because obviously you've been training in person with me at Lusail. You've completed your level 1 fundamentals, a karting program. How was that? Where did you start at in terms of lap time? Where did you finish at?
I started at 122 and I ended at 109. It could have been 107, but there's a bit of traffic. So
yep, that was within the 4 training sessions that we did. Honestly, before this, did you have any karting experience?
I mean, I went like twice with my friends.
Yeah, and then this was obviously the first time that you took on some training, professionally. How was the use of having a GoPro and obviously telemetry as well?
The telemetry helped a lot because it showed where I was losing the most time. Like without the telemetry, it's hard to tell like if I'm gaining or losing speed on corner entry compared to my fastest lap. And the GoPro helped the most since you could actually see my mistakes in person. And yeah, it showed the areas to improve the most.
That's a really good point you made about both GoPro and telemetry, because a lot of drivers will just go out there and do laps. And obviously your 10-minute, 15-minute session goes very quickly. If you've got no record of what you're doing, if either through telemetry or some footage, then you're very, very likely to forget what happened. And you don't have an accurate gauge on how well your lines were doing until after the session, where you see lap times and maybe get a printout of all laps. What the telemetry does, you guys will be familiar with the Racebox device and the karting mount, which you put on the the steering wheel. I've been using that for the past couple of months now. You're able to see a live delta. So in the moment, how much you're gaining, how much you're losing on that lap. And more importantly, sector timings, right? Because you can have just like you see in F1, a great first sector, an okay middle sector, and then you lose time in sector 3. So that doesn't mean that lap was rubbish. No, it just means your sector 3 was bad. Sector 1 was perfectly good. So through telemetry, you're able to then paint a picture, and you're able to see things black and white. You're no longer guessing. Yeah, it's totally there for you to analyze post-session, and then obviously make those changes before that. This is a very, very busy session 8, was it, that you drove in, or 9?
Session 7 and 9, I think.
7 and 9. We've even got some lap times over here, and you can see with Kart 27, how was it overall?
For the first, until like the last 3 laps, I was just trying to learn it because it's extremely oversteery. To the right side, but when I was turning to the left, it was understeering. But
That's
it
a
was
good observation.
fast on the straights, so I tried to make the most of the straights. So it took time to get used to the oversteer for me.
Yeah, I would prefer to have an oversteery kart, especially on right-hand corners on this layout, because we just got so many right-hand corners. You can sort of get away with the left. If we think of the left-hand corners at Lusail, we've got the second hairpin, first part of the chicane, and probably at the end of the lap, turn 16 is a left. Everything else is all right-hand corners. You look at the consistency over here, 109, 109, couple of 110s, and then immediately a 186. So what was different about 18.6?
So for 186, I realized midway through I was wasting more time on the session, like trying to warm up than I was. And then I realized this is my final lap. I guess I'll push.
Yep.
And I got the 108. And the kart kind of cooled down in a way since I wasn't pushing. So the tires had less heat. So it was oversteering quite a bit less for me.
Let's watch this lap in the full duration. We got turns 1, 2, and 3. A lot more aggressive now. If you compare from the first time you were driving at this track to now, you can see full gas through the first corner, utilizing the outside width. Then you're able to come further to the left-hand side and starting to keep that gap towards the inside apex. We don't want to go too near too soon. Hold on in the middle, and then flick the kart to the right, just like you're doing for the apex at turn 3. This is one new line I want you to try for next time, which we've been discovering, actually, the more and more sessions we do, the way the climate is changing at nighttime as well. It's sort of following this white line further, going for a slightly later turn-in. The later turn-in, flat out, then allows us to take a later apex for turn 1. And if you look at the actual apex over here, we're cutting across the track and we're ending up somewhere on this side. And there's going to be this beautiful pocket of space where my yellow box is. And this has so much grip. It's crazy. You wouldn't believe. Now, there's some occasions where we've taken this late turn in, late apex, ended up on this side of the track in this pocket of space, and we've been able to go flat out. So we no longer even need to now lift for turn 3, which is the right coming up after. There's just so much grip over here where my black lines are. That's something to try after next time you go. Coming through turns 4 and 5 now, utilizing a good amount of track on the entry, and it's always an awkward combination, 4 and 5, because the moment that we turn in from the paint, then the corner is getting tighter and tighter. Right now, how are you lifting? Is it more on feeling? Is it like middle of the blue-white?
I tend to lift, where you pause, that's around where I'd lift consistently. But I've been trying to push it a bit later since I've noticed I'm losing quite a bit of time on entry and exit somehow.
Okay. I think your entry is fine, and even where you're lifting, it's just how we apply the gas again. If you go too soon, too much gas too quickly, what you'll find is you touch the inside curb and it just throws you out, which induces a bit of oversteer. So all you want to do is just be patient with that gas. And even if you are patient with the gas, I'd say the amount of curb you take on the inside is not so necessary for turn 4. Because I found the more I take it, the more I oversteer. So I just like to go until sort of the white line. Other than that, it looks good. We got the end of sector 1 coming up over here, which is obviously our chicane. This is a lot more aggressive. You're going flat out, right? Through 10
yeah, I'm trying to use the straight line thing we've done.
Straight line, absolutely. Take as less meters as possible.
This is where I lost most time, though. I think this.
You think in the chicane?
Because I didn't nick the curb well.
It's always tricky. It's all about timing and accuracy for this chicane. Number 1, we want to talk about our entry, and you really want to utilize the full width of the track. Right now, you're coming close. Look, you're even touching a bit of the blue-white curb. I still think you can bring that right tire all the way to the tip of the curb, right? And what that allows you to do is just widen up the corner angle. Moment you touch the blue-white curb and you're riding a bit more, lifting off the gas, then we got to go for a sharp left-hand turn. Getting across the white paint and even jumping a bit of this left-hand curb, but the angle that you want it to be done is slightly more to the left. So we're sort of targeting to jump and then end up somewhere here. The moment you end up somewhere here on my yellow box, opens up the next right. The moment you take a slightly weak angle like this, now we're sort of straight lining into the next corner. It tightens up the corner entry. You're having to turn more, probably lift off the gas slightly, and then just taking a lot of curb. So all you want to do next time, make sure we're using this side of the track so it opens up that right. And again, with that curb, we just want to touch up till the white line. No need to take too much, otherwise you'll feel that it's unsettling the car. That's the main observation I found from your lap on over here with sector 1. Any other corners you wanted to go over before we?
That did not look as bad. I think there's a sector 3 maybe, yeah, because I know the line. I was doing it fine on the other laps. I think I'm struggling to do it while pushing.
Yeah.
I'm finding it
being on the limit
to go from out and out for the. I don't know the turn number, but it's
sector 3.
Yeah, it's after the one where you look at the light pole where you brake a tiny bit.
Over here, let's round off with this quick analysis of sector 3. Basically, we've got the double right. That's turn 14, turn 15, and then that leads us into turn 16, which is the sharp hairpin. Right? It's a really, really tight U-turn. Now, what happened on your sector 3 over here? Because I still think you could have gained time. You're also going off the track slightly, which means you're overdriving a little. Simple change. Number 1, look at our outside light post over here. If you find that difficult, then just follow this white line. That will allow you to keep a bit more of a gap on entry. See, what's happening now is, okay, I'd say you're tight for the first part. Then you're on the brakes, which is nice because we do want to be on the brakes in this sort of range. Early brake, early gas. I still think you can be wider. So I'll just show you a quick comparison over here. I'd say you're closer to the right than you are to the left over there. We're going to use a bit more of the outside track. So it opens up this corner and we're going to go for a late apex, sharp late turn, late apex. The moment we start turning in a bit too early, for turn 15. Then we hit the curb. What's happening here is as you get back onto gas, you're applying the gas a bit too quickly. So you get a massive snap of oversteer, having to correct the car. And that oversteer takes us off the line. You can see really trying to correct it now. Drifting to the middle of the track. So the moment we're in the middle of the track now, for a hairpin turn, the angle of the corner becomes way too tight, right? Where do we ideally want to enter turn 16? All the way over here, where my yellow box is. You can have that late apex on turn 15, the corner before. You stay towards the right-hand side of the track, and then you come across an apex. Moment we're getting too tight to in the middle on entry, then we have to turn more, reduce our speed more, and then I would even say for this corner, no need to touch the solid curb, just go up to the blue-white paint. Touch the blue-white paint, and then run out slightly. Make sure you're within track limits. So sector 3, all you want to do, widen it up. Right now we're going too narrow too quickly. Stay towards the outside. Use this outer part of the track. The moment you can do that 1-2 times, you'll be like, wow, there's so much grip over here, right? Where my black circle is, I'll even draw some lines. This part is grippy. There's space to utilize. And the wider you can approach it, the easier it is then going to be to take a late apex for this corner. We want to end up somewhere over here on the right-hand side. And then it'll set us up perfectly for turn 16. Any final things before we wrap up for your footage?
Should I do like, because I tend to slide a bit. Like, I know how to induce rotation. It's just for chicane, I don't know if I want to like induce rotation or not, or do I just go normally about it?
A bit. For the chicane, you don't want to do as much as like the first hairpin or second hairpin. The more you turn on that curb, the more rotation you'll get anyway. So just give it 50%, I'd say. The moment you overdo it, then you're losing speed and you're having to correct for the left right.
Yeah.
When are you planning to go to the track next?
Probably this Thursday. I think
Superb.
7, 8, and 9 maybe.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll probably see you at the track then, hopefully. Keep up the practice and let's get some more footage, for next time for track help. It's always a pleasure, Dev. Thank you so much for joining. We got a good comment over here from Jared on Instagram. Is oversteer going to always be bad? No, it depends how much oversteer you get. Personally, I like to induce oversteer because it helps me turn the kart, right? How do I induce oversteer? I brake hard. I do snap steering, so sharp left or right hand turn, and then that gets weight off the rear. And if you're able to control it, so give it a few degrees of oversteer, that's acceptable. Ideally, you want to try to keep your steering wheel as neutral as possible. The moment you start doing 90 degrees, 180 degrees of oversteer, then you're definitely sliding too much and you're losing time. Honestly, oversteer is more like a style preference. I definitely don't like an understeery kart. That's horrible, where you just have to hold on for dear life and force the kart to turn. That's really, really horrible. Let's wrap up today with Jeremy's, not Jeremy's footage, Harry's footage in the background. Whilst we get that up, we'll just say hi to, is it Jezlab? What's up, Jezlab? Welcome to Track Help. If you got a mic, just unmute, give us a hi. Glorious, Jezlab. Straight into some Club 100 wet karting. It's quite the rainstorm.
So this is the pre-B final. Actually, I put it in wrong. This is the
Okay.
this is the
Do we watch this one or the other one?
I want to just quickly ask you a question on the first one, actually.
Absolutely.
About the engine, because I know you know a bit about Rotax, but
yep,
you have one. You have one, right? Yeah, you do. Okay.
Rotax Senior. It's a very popular engine here in Middle East. More than Miami, let's say.
If you go to the first one, I just want to. There's a sound like it's like I hit like an invisible limiter, like almost immediately.
On the start.
If you go to the video which I replied to on there, and you might be, I think it's that one.
Yeah, let's take a look at the two. Would you say that's down to the weather? Maybe some water got in, or?
I think it might be down to the everyone who else of us is saying like it's probably because the spark is oiled. So if you skip ahead, because I'm waiting here for quite some time, but as soon as I hit exit the pit lane, you can kind of hear it. Like, yeah, here you go.
Yeah. So people are saying what the spark plug is spark plug related? What you might need to change it or?
They were saying it sounds like it's oiled, or it like it's because like the cart hasn't been used that much, because this is in like kind of like the
Yeah,
spare cart pile.
possibly. I've tend to notice, disruption like this can be due to the carburetor itself. I had an instance where I was going out for training sessions, and then suddenly on the straights, it's just hitting this limiter, as you say, the invisible limiter. Come in, mechanic says, "Look, let's wash the carburetor. Let's really thoroughly clean it." And by the time he installed it again, after it was cleaned up, huge difference. No more of this stuttering, this invisible limiter. It was almost perfect. So that could be one of the reasons. That's just in my experience. And other than that, as you mentioned, it might be a cold cart. Obviously, these were they on sort of rotation? So when A is driving, the B carts are resting. Is it something like that, or
No. So
one
like so, usually they have like two lines. So there's like two lines of 13, and then there's usually 26, and then there's a spare kind of pile as well. And so basically it's like junior cadet. So it goes junior, and then the juniors would be waiting,
Gotcha.
and then so it's kind of just like on and off. So they kind of have a break in a way.
I think that's really nice. How's Club 100 going this year then for you? It's your second
Well, I mean,
season, right?
this is kind of this is my first full season in a way. This
First
is
full
my
season.
this is my best race by far. So I've been stuck in the C final all year, and then
Okay.
I finally got. This is me after I got promoted to the B final, because it started raining literally as we were in the dummy grid, like
Wow.
5 minutes to go, and it just starts absolutely pouring down. So I put my wetsuit on. Luckily, I brought it with me, otherwise we'd have to run onto the car and get it.
Exactly.
And I just held on to second, and that's you need to come first or second to get
Wow.
to get into the next final. So
Very well done. And this is the race we're watching, yeah? Where you
so this is the one that I got promoted to. So this
Okay.
has been straight after.
These are the quicker drivers, technically.
Yeah.
You're up against.
Yeah.
And how was it competition wise? Could you keep up? Were you battling with the? I mean, I could tell.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like as it like I was more competitive with the rain because of my weight. Really, that's what kind of
That helps. Yep.
that's what kind of usually that's what made me faster. Because if you see the guy in the red suit there, he's one of my friends. He actually he won the T4 O plate this weekend.
Amazing.
In the rain, actually, funnily enough. So and I think it is kind of not entirely, but like partly our weight, which kind of helps in the corners and stuff like that.
Using some of the curbs, leaning more, I guess, as well.
Yeah,
all the tactics. I heard the latest announcement then of Club 100 is going to offer some ticket to Rotax finals.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be like the ones which they hosted in Sano, but it will be its own sort of kind of own separate event. So it will feed in from all the other championships running, like so all the rental Rotax championships. So there's one now. They brought the Club 100 Formula to America.
Yeah.
They're running similar thing in Canada, but it's a different chassis. And I think there's some stuff in Taiwan and China, Australia. I don't remember it fully, but it looks like it'll be pretty good. And then the four classes get 4 entries. So I'm going to guess that's cadet, junior, senior, masters.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how each track sort of, have their own way of doing things. Because it's going to be really, really interesting. I know Middle East they're using UAE as one of the hosts, but standard carts and all that is going to be interesting to say the least. Of course, Mr. Guy Williams comes right on cue. We need to know your opinion on the latest developments of the Rotax Arrive and Drive.
Oh, he's at Team Sport.
He's at Team Sport. How could I not realize?
Guy, you're muted, by the way.
Good afternoon, everybody. Shut up. Sorry, I'm in the middle of coaching two very annoying children. How are you all doing today?
Then you're leaving them hanging. Come on, you're coming to our session.
He's coming to
You
coaching
remember
for more
this guy?
coaching.
Bro, stop his camera shy. Look at him. His camera shy. What he said? Oh my God! Help!
He's getting coaching for coaching.
No, it's seriously, Omar. He says he's your favourite YouTuber, bro.
You're my
There we
favourite
go.
YouTuber.
Hey, we got a 1v1 at the Holy Figure of 8, yeah?
Yeah, bro, you get
They're already
destroyed.
training.
We'd annihilate you, bro. We'd actually annihilate you.
If you ever want to go to a difficult track, Team SWAT Acton. The
How
hardest
dare
track
you?
in the
It's the
world.
best track in the country.
The hardest track in the world. It's so difficult.
It
If you-
is.
if you
Anyway,
look at the
Omar,
type of corners-
I need to do it because we need to go do some banditry.
You go for it. You
This
go
is your
for it.
footage here. You're really bad at Club 100. Have a lovely
Ah,
day,
great.
buddies.
Thank you.
Love you, bye.
Love it.
Love you, bye.
Even when you get promoted to the B final, he's always he's on your case.
Oh yeah.
A final. He's gonna have to be the A final, Harry. I'm afraid. You're gonna have to
I
make
mean,
it.
I've got it. Must be next week. That'll be
Super.
at Ella Park and another new track.
Let's round off today just by going to the Rotax Racing Instagram page.
Yeah.
Because this was the latest post that they put out, and it's worth reviewing because it's acting as if as a next step for drivers to take a bigger championship. This is not it. Whereabouts is it?
If you go on the Club 100 account, you'll be able to do. Oh no, hang on, no, that's it there. If you go on to a new era is dawning.
Ah, yes, this is it. Club 100 is part of the Rotax Racing Club. That's what it's called. A new global initiative by Rotax to bring together passionate racers. So a lot of drivers obviously are in rental karts. The moment you get into owner karts, which is like this, costs go way up. And the level of driving as well is completely different, the style of driving. What the Rotax Racing Club will do is similar to the Club 100 karts, give you a chassis, which is a typical rental kart, but then have that Rotax engine. So you got more power. And
I wouldn't be surprised if it is actually Club 100's karts because like that's like they're nearby. I mean, like they used to go to Spa to do racing.
It's crazy because the one in UAE are the we call them the RD1 karts. So it's a DD2 engine, but they remove.
Oh, I remember you told me this. It's like some silly formula, but it sounds really
crazy. Cool. So it really bogs down on the acceleration. Terrible bottom end, but then the top end is incredible.
And is that on a Birrell chassis?
And it is, yeah. So it's crazy. But obviously, I've found the more of these Rotax rental karts you get, there are big similarities. There's big differences then in performance compared to your normal 4-strokes. I don't know. That's just me, or
and also it's more expensive. I mean, Rotax 2-stroke and everything, but like at the end of the day, it's going to be more expensive. And if you're going to try and make it like the kind of like big arrive and drive championship, which I mean a few others like KWC already exist. I think it kind of makes it a bit more expensive.
Absolutely. They're going to trial it in basically alongside SWS next year. That's what it looks like. So you can see this announcement that our Sprint Cup will, or unless that's something completely different. I think
it might be. I think they're all trying to compete with one another now. You got a Fat Karting League. They're trying to do a World Series as well.
Okay.
They're doing that in a few weeks' time, I think, from America and England, and then Club 100, I think, and then it's all getting confusing now.
Absolutely. We're going to round off today's session with some comments over here. Arush Racing, you gotta chill, bro. When we're chatting amongst ourselves on this live, people have obviously submitted footage from our academy. Then we got to take that discussion, pause, and then have a look at comments. We're not constantly looking at comments, so chill, bro. We're gonna come to your question. Don't worry. Arush, he's asking, hey guys, isn't it better to move into Formula 1300 series? I'll be honest, I've never done Formula 1300, and I've got no idea what that is. Any advice, Harry? Have you heard of Formula 1300?
I think. I mean, it's probably like a feeder Formula series, like a regional one. I mean, to be fair, I personally like karting. Like, if you want to move up, I think kind of like actual Formula 4, like a national Formula 4 championship is probably the way, but it probably costs about 10 million, about like 10 times more.
I think it comes down to where you live, and you got to look at what path other drivers are taking, who actually are progressing as well, because that should be the long-term goal, Arush. So wherever you're based, have a look at drivers who may be going pro, maybe getting into GT racing, something like that, and see what series they followed. Otherwise, you're going to have to travel and go to these bigger races. That's the best option, because if you got the funds, if you got the budget, then there's much better races or championships than, I'm sure, Formula 1300, where you can get better value and obviously better competition, exposure, and potential sponsors as well. We're going to call it a wrap today for the Track Help session. Thank you all for joining. We hope to review some more footage next week at 6 p.m. GMT. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening. Good night.
Oh, wow.